So, and I was talking about it. He said, no, you have to bring this one up. Take this one. I said, okay. Then he did it and showed me. He said, okay, go ahead. Then I did it. Like that. But you know what? I always believe in something. Be prepared for the opportunity and not have it, than to have the opportunity and not be prepared for it. Can you say that? Be prepared for the opportunity and not have it, than to have the opportunity and not be prepared for it. I want to hear you. Be prepared than to have the opportunity and not be prepared for it. So when he told me on Sunday evening that I was going to host the show, I wrote my intro, my lines and my outro, and then I rehearsed it as if my life depended on it. So in the morning when I flipped the thing and he came to correct me and I flipped it again, my intro was there. This is a 2 minute 16-second song. He was down there. He couldn't have crossed the camera to come up. So he was standing there. The production team, everybody froze. I was holding the mic. My people were behind me. And then he said, go ahead. Then I introduced that song. And then we sang. When we finished, take my number. I will mentor you. I introduced the song as if it was him who was doing the introduction. So fast forward to, I think later in February of the next year, 2009. He has a program called Valentine Special on GTV. It's a live show. 4 hours. Then I was with him the night before, went to busy internet, went to print the running order, everything, and we brought it. While we were on our way, he was going to drop me. I asked me, what would I like to wear tomorrow for Valentine? So I want a gray suit with a white shirt, striped with a red tie. I said, you got it. So the next day, he calls me and tells me, I need to take the printed stuff from yesterday to GDC, give one to the producer, one to the director, one to, he gave me their names, blah, 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 telephone number. So I got there and delivered it. Then he said, when I deliver the things, I should stay there, I shouldn't go anywhere. So I stayed there. I thought he was coming to host the show. Only for him to turn up at 3:55. Show starts at 4. With a big plaster on his face. Was striding in. And then he said, what good price? I said, yes, but this man will do the show. I was in an air-conditioned room like this. A cold bead of sweat just dropped. My knees were shaking. Because these are big shoes. Even at now, those are big shoes, giant shoes. So he said, no, GBC, no, you cannot do it. He said, he will do it. So we sat on the couch. He gave me an intro he had written. And I still remember that intro up until today. I still remember the intro. I still remember the intro because he pressed me to do it. And that was the first time I had seen a TV studio. Guess what? We finished the show, there was a repeat, and then he hosted the Ghana Music Awards. So I'd gone to Charter House to go and collect his check for him. When I went to Charter House, they were auditioning people for the Good Life game show by the USAID and the Johns Hopkins University. And I said, this one, I can do some of the auditions. He said, do it. I did the audition. I have a full job on TV. Because I've always been prepared. Because, unlike some of you, my mirror is not my examination thing where I go and touch my body in front of the mirror. I use my mirror as my audience and I practice to my mirror. Do you understand? A lot of you have resources that you don't use. And you need to maximize the resources that you have. You are fortunate. Your father bought you a laptop. Your father paid your school fees. Your father has done everything. I played in a band to pay my university fees. Live band, Friday, Saturdays. They are paying for, so there's no pressure on you really. And there's no point for you to fail. Do you understand? But you will use your laptop to watch all the YouTube and watch small porno. It's not good. The real things that you must use the laptop for to research and learn and read, you don't do. You find time for all the trivialities that you can think about. And I'm saying these things because you are not told these things when you are at the lower level. So now you're here, you're struggling to find your feet. If you went to a typical Saito school like me, and typical Saito morning and afternoon shift like me, When you come and you meet the guys from Morning Star and the rest, you will shake, you tremble. Because they know plenty. They have a working library in their school. They know what the computer is. They have constant electricity, so ICT is not new to them. They go on excursions and field trips. They have seminars in their school. So I said, who has that for you? 11:45, your teacher is packing it. Even before they teach, they sell achomo and achuda first before they start teaching. Align? Is it not true? So you are already shortchanged. So if you don't look sharp, sharp will look you. So now you are at the crossroads. Where you are now, level 100, wherever 200, 300 for you are at the crossroads. You need to make that bold decision. And you need to make that decision now. Forget about everything. Make that decision now. Because the world out there is turbulent. You will come to the realization that after university, as soon as your parents come for your graduation, you will see that their relationship towards you will change. When you start cutting bread, the bread on the dining table after university, you finish national service, no job, and you cut the bread, it's as if you are making noise. And you'll be wondering whether you were adopted or these are your real parents. Because they believe that your education should improve the GDP of the house. But rather, you are not improving the GDP. So they will not be happy with you. Then your mother will throw shade at you. Because they want you to be fruitful, resourceful, and profitable. So these are some of the things that you should have known before getting here. My closing thought. While you are thinking about what it is that you want to do to transform your life to get your place of pride in the future, also bear in mind that there are competitive factors. And bear in mind that you always not have it easy. And bear in mind that the world is counting on you. And bear in mind that the resources out there are not infinite. And bear in mind that if you cannot do it, it cannot be done by any other person. So you want to be a journalist? Or do you want to be a TV slave queen? You have to decide now. Did you get that? Do you want to be a journalist, worth your salt, or you want to be a TV slave queen? You have to decide now. So that you don't go and wear fishing nets and bring it to school and call it dress. Do you understand? Because you can post on social media all the rubbish you want to post. Any HR worth is soft in this day and they will tell you, before they even call you for the interview, they would have conducted 60% of the interview from what you post on social media. So today you are doing TikTok. You are doing Snapchat. When you post the videos after 24 hours and they get message, you know where they go. So you expose your breast and you are gone. 24 hours, they are gone. You don't know. Then 10 years on, you are married, you are working, your kids are sitting at the back of your car, you're taking them to school. They go on TikTok or whatever it is, and they see you. Hey, mom, is that you? Do you see where we're going? So, but by all means, post. But know that the internet never forgets. So decide what you want to be. You want to be a slave queen on TV? We have special schools for that. If you want to be a journalist, where when there's a press conference or you go to parliament and you have a microphone, everybody wants to talk to you. Now when I have a microphone, everybody wants to talk to me. Some even want to run. Because I'm not a slave king. I'm a journalist. Do you understand? It does not mean you should not have style. But you must balance it properly. So if you want to be a slave queen, because look around. GIJ, GIJ now has more females than the... See, GIJ at the time, the females were scared to come to school. Now you have an opportunity. You have even expanded. You are sitting in an air-conditioned room. We used to have schools under trees at GIJ. Wooden structure. You are sitting in an air-conditioned screens. And you still don't want to learn. No, there's something wrong somewhere. So I beg you. There are more women than there are men. You know, if you're a woman, as they say on the streets, if you're a woman and your brain is not sharp, something else suffers. You have heard that before? Yes. And you are still not taking a cue. If you're a woman and your brains don't work properly, they are not sharp, something else will suffer. You know what? So from today, make a pledge that you are actually presenting to the world the value you want them to place on you. Because if your attitude, your character, your motive, the consequence is like currency. The way you sell it is how much you buy it for. A certain weight on yourself. Change your style of dressing. Start acting responsibly, even from start. Let people identify you for what it is that you have, rather than what it is that they assume you should be having. And then last point, get mentors. I'm not talking about mentors that train them. Get people who mentor you. And you must choose your mentors very well. Choose them very well. Choose rightly. But I'll say this again. You have to decide if you want to be a slave queen or you want to be a journalist. Good morning.
If not judgment, even in your room, in your hostel room, you sit down and think. Like they need you don't need judgment day, to go to die and go to heaven first, that we count on. No. Even in your room, when you're quiet and there's no, and then you question, you say, oh, Master, if it is one way you use be the individual, you either feel lost because you know that this wasn't you. You ended up compromising. So for me, the most important thing, if you don't take anything, don't take my mother's nightclub experience. It's not a key thing. But if you don't take anything away from what I'm sharing with you, know that you need to have an open mind to make the decisions you have to. It is very, very important. And be true to yourself. Be true to who you are. Don't try and impress. If you need academic assistance, go to the right people. Ask them. Ask them. And also, don't wait for your lecturers to teach you everything. Learn to learn on your own. And I can give you examples. Those things have really helped. When you decide to learn on your own, it helps. So if you're here, cultivate the habit of reading. Read. Take materials and read. I don't know if the people that like soft copy, I can't do soft copy book. I really literally like to do the hard copy. Because then it gives you the opportunity to write, line mark, bookmark, and I know that I'm here. But when I start reading on my phone, I easily get distracted. But if you're somebody, I would encourage you to read. Read. Do you know why? Because when you read, it opens your mind. Every book you read, the author takes you to a journey. A journey that is so different from you. And it shouldn't always be Mills and Books. It's been a while since I heard those books. Mills and Books. These are books we were reading back in, 2016. And teens, now they've all grown. So please, don't read Mills and Books or, Super 316. But you have to read, if you're doing a course, read books around it and read other materials. So for instance, there's so much talk about it, but you don't have the power. What makes it powerful to you is when you're able to make an impact with the knowledge that you have. So if you know something and somebody asks you, please, you don't lose what you have. Okay? You don't lose. It's even an opportunity for you to revise what you have. And if maybe what you are having and showing the person, it doesn't really tell you have those conversations. Oh, I think the last time I read this, you cross-check. That is how you learn. So if you have an information about something, if you know something, if maybe you're the best in your class for a particular course, and people come and ask you, yes, it's good to know that you're sharp. Feel good about it, but please, you are not powerful until you share that knowledge with somebody else. It is the transformation of the knowledge. How you are able to transform it, how you are able to impact with the knowledge that you have, what makes it powerful. If not, it's just a bank. You're just storing the information and then there's Anybody else? Okay, I see a lady there. So kindly mention your name for me, okay? So I also get to know your name. Nana? Okay, Nana.
Okay, please, you stated you read humanity.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know how come we end up in the music.
Oh, tell me. That's a very good one. Well, yes, I did study humanities. Even as in it, I read human resource. But as I mentioned earlier, I'd always had this passion for media. There was something about media that kept drawing me to it. It wasn't even TV specific. It was radio tailored. You know, I had this impression about people who were on the radio. You don't see their face, but they are able to impact you with so many things that they say. And for me, that felt very, very powerful. You know, but I didn't attend any media school. My first media exposure was from Fiesta, but then to be a journalist, I had my exposure from GIJ. So the first day I decided to go and do a story about Kalyjay. I didn't know how to go about it, but I learned on the job. So that is how it is for me. I already had the passion for it, but I was able to build more from field experiences, somewhere between 2015 until date. Any other question? I see a hand up. Can I hear you, please? I can't hear you. Your marker. Okay. Ooh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I think at this point, if you find yourself in a tertiary education, you should be able to have a level-headed conversation with your parents. I know some parents, they are die-hard fans of certain occupations. And tell them no, they say, no, you could do it. You know. But when you have conversations with them, and you make them understand and appreciate where you are coming from. And it's not just about the conversation. You know, parents, seeing is believing. I think with parents, the seeing is believing method works more for them. When they see you doing what you said you want to do, and there's a little, you know, victory there for you, there's growth there for you, then they feel like, okay, now I can let you go into. Because sometimes they find these as terrains that they are not familiar with. I mean, we've all seen doctors, who go school, doctor. Zero, and then you end up going to institutions that, of course, your salary is worth it. But most people haven't really known how the journalist goes about it. And everyone's all trust in the original, they are busting. If you want to be like Jonnie by 90 on TV, then you say, you are breaking the you know, and then your parents will be like, hey, you're almost going to go in here. You understand? But once they're able to see the impact of that, what you're doing, in terms of how you feeling as an individual, you can have those conversations with your parents. Now parents are becoming more liberal. You know, now they are sorting because they realize that if they don't, technology will take over. You're going to look for some social media mother that should tell you that, oh, continue, you know. So they're becoming very liberal now. Now they know that, yeah, let's have a conversation. Even as young as 6 years, they're having conversations. I'll take my last question from you and then I'll hand over.
So my name is Bella.
Bella.
Yes,
it's a very, very nice name.
My concern is in regards to the Break the Bias campaign ongoing. So I want to know, does it really exist in the media? And if it does, how wide it is?
Hey, my seniors are here. If my senior was out, I would have said it. He's in here. But yes, the issue that has to do with women and we showing that we can actually be at par. Not even, you see, the thing is, it's not about showing or being at par with men. You know, I think that is the mentality we need to get. You don't need to say that that thing we used to say when we were young, what a man can do, a woman can do better. I think let's tweak it a little bit. It's not just about trying to be at par with men, rub shoulders with men, but it's having the opportunity to excel in what you do as a woman and you're being acknowledged for your role as a woman. That is how it's supposed to be. So if we are all in media, I mean I'm in media with Mr. Hughes here, we have our own challenges. Obviously there's some stories, if it is Wall's own story, they'll not give it to me as a lady. They'll definitely look for a gentleman because they feel that the men first of all have the ability to withstand, they are tough, they can prove, strong and all that. But now there are ladies who actually are in front of front and they're reporting. If you watch the report from CNN and BBC, Kiev, you are seeing women reporters standing, walking through the crowds, they are talking. Because gradually, it's not about what a man can do, a woman can do better. But it's about the fact that when a woman is given that opportunity, she can also bring her very best onto the table. And sometimes her very best is actually admirable. So don't be in a haste to want to say that, oh, Kalyjay is my competitor as a man, so I want to beat him. No, you're going to lose the mark. Okay? So don't use people as your yardstick. Like, don't try and compare yourself to the men in your class or the boys and say, oh, this boy is good at that, so me too. No. You have to do it from your own ability. Do you understand? Maybe the people at the high table will come and talk about me. But for me, practically where I come from, what I do is that I'm not trying to compete with the men in the media house. I'm a woman in media. I'm doing my best as a woman in media. I am breaking my own barriers one way or the other. And that alone is the push I need. If somebody acknowledges and says, hey, women in media, you're doing so well, then kudos to us. Kudos to us. But it's not about, Jonnie Hughes is always on TV and he's going to say breaking the E. And then people come and stand there in front of the TV and say, hey, yes, I'm telling you. And they're like, what is she going to do? People will see that you're trying to be something like what he is. But if it's about the time that the space acknowledges the little that women do in all institutions, whether it's media, whether it's banking.
Well, if you are maybe you are creative or you are good at something, it doesn't matter if they are paying you 0 pesos. Just do it. Build a relationship with the people. And when it's time for you to be paid, you'll be paid. Some of the people I have that help for free, and then they recommend people that will give you money that even can charge them. I won't be paid that much. Well. So that's why I did. I connected with lots of people, and after the first encounter and all that, I took another thing. I started Kalyjay Spaces on Twitter. So I've been interviewing artists and celebrities. I've had interviews with South here, Dela Micheal, Jonnie, recently I interviewed Akwaaba and all that. So I've been in that space. It hasn't been easy before. It hasn't been easy. I think last year I did Akwaaba with SRC and GIJ. I did my part for the school. I brought in some of the artists, my artist friends, to share the space. It was a nice experience. So it's all about working towards a goal. If you have a goal, if you set targets for yourself, and you know where you want to be, eventually you get there. And it's not about, there's no formula to this goal. There's someone come and say, Charlie, play your A's. See, like, you see the A you want to get, the A you want to get. Someone also has that same A. So what is making you better than that person? Well, what will make them choose you over that person? Because the A you get, somebody to get them. So you have to add that, you have to go the extra mile. You have to get the connect. You have to get the experience. You have to build the relationships. Because that's the reality. Not be now you see the school and you go finish. You go finish. But once you see the reality, you see now. And what I'm saying here, I'm sure maybe some of you should be like, yeah, you just talk. And it's cool. Because when someone told me this when I was in school, I was like, nah, the person doesn't talk. So I experienced it. I was like, nah, that's the reality. So if what advice you guys is, you can start learning something on the side. Graphic designing, writing, like add some extra touch to what you want to get into. Well, add an extra touch to the liquid. Because right now there are some jobs, like maybe you go to a company and they ask you, can you drive? It's not like because the company don't want to give you a driver. So they ask you, can you drive before they give you a company car? If you did that aside the job you're already given. There are some jobs, maybe you're a journalist, they'll ask you, can you edit? Because not be all the jobs you can go give editor. So add that extra touch. That will make you valuable. Because if you have that extra touch, before even the company will talk say they will sack you self crowd, it will be hard to give them involved. Because if you are a journalist, you are doing your part, but you don't have that extra touch. When someone comes, the person can edit, the person can do voiceovers, the person can write script, the person can bring on guests, and the company want to lay people off. Who do you think they will lay off? You know how you go, but you know how you go. So I feel you should add that extra touch and maybe like a conscious effort to work on yourself as a person. But right now, like 3-4 years ago, there are places where I'll go and I'm trying to enter, they'll be like, nah, this place you can't enter, it's not for you. You don't reach this level. But now I can go there and I'll sit there, I see the blue boys, it's nice. I went for an interview recently and someone was like, can you tell us a bit more about yourself? I was like, I didn't Google, you can Google me. Because bro, I went for it, and I work with almost all the big brands in the country. That's stuff for UNICEF and all that. So what I'll say is, you guys the journey is not easy. It's not going to be easy because GIJ level 100. Who knows how to go still? Who knows how to go still? Yeah, so that's the level that I was. That was the level 200. Level 100 I was at YMC at Akwaaba. And I walk from Akwaaba to the old campus every day, back and forth. And I moved to Alberta. Why? Because I was broke. I was at Alberta. There were days where, you see, I'll call my mom and I'll be like, man, Charlie, today I don't know money. She'll send me like 150 cities. And then she said I should spend it for like 2 weeks. 750 cities, Ghana, Accra. And it's not any part of Accra also. You have to buy pamphlets, you have to buy food, you have to pay for bills. It wasn't easy at all. There were days like before class and I begged for class. Because the whole day I spent like 3 cities and there was this woman by Alberto, so I'll take like 3 cities, I'll go there, I'll buy like 2 balls, that's like 2 cities. I'll buy egg one, I'll spread, I'll come. So as I did the class, I already vexed. Because lecture or Kasabi really. I already vexed. We did 2 balls in the shower. Now you come. So I already vexed. So that's why I had to make that conscious effort. That I need to make extra income. That's why I started exploring other spaces. Bro, I tried graphic designing. I went to everything is on YouTube. YouTube is like the best teacher in the world. I went to YouTube. I searched for graphic designing. I was doing cover arts for people in school. I was charging like 30 CDs. I was doing cover arts for people. And there's this course in GIJ where you write books. You write a 40-page poem and all that. And I was designing cover arts for my classmates. It's taking 30 CDs. I was like, I said that money small. So my mom, I want to do photography. She added it. I bought my camera. Once I was charging like 150 CDs. That one, there's nothing you want to pay. Because you see, in the beginning of the semester, so now you do the photography, you get money. By the middle of the sem, you book. And my target market was the students. I wasn't getting money. So I was like, let me just go into something else. I tried social media influencing. The first thing I did, they paid me 5 cents. It's like, it's cool. After I had like 10,000 followers on Twitter. They paid me like 5 cents. Like, it's cool. It's okay. Then I went, they gave me 20 CDs. I was going. Right now, I tell how much I charge for I can't say it. And I charge a lot because I've went for it. When I'm not charging based on what I'm doing for you, but based on the work I've done on social media, based on the experience, based on the period of time I've done. There are agencies that those days they didn't want to work with me because my social media handle is GIJ. Why would you use GIJ on social media? They'll be like, this one here, the clients don't like the name GIJ. Right now, those clients are coming to me. It's like, right now you have the number. Right now I have 787,000 followers on Twitter. Company, 90,000. That's like 5 times more than. Look at that number, 787,000 social media. Making lots of money because I found my strength. I started graphic design, I went to photography, and I found my strength in social media. Maybe you start something. I'm sure it won't work out the first time. It's not like you try it and you get it the first time. But try other stuff. If you try 1 year, 2 years, it's not working, you switch up, get another. You try, and then all that, you're gathering the experience. Even if it doesn't work out, you gather the experience. Right now, I can still do photography. I'm sure you saw the last series video that was trending at the Dream Music Awards. It was because I also took my part. I took some of the videos and I shot it and I posted it. That was based on the experience I got from when I was doing photography. I designed some of my cover art because I did a bit of graphic design. You can try all that, you get all the experience. Even if it doesn't work out, you have the experience. And no matter what, no one is going to take that experience from you. No one can take it from you. It's all about being a better person of yourself. And one thing I also say is there's no competition in life. Just do you. The only competition I have personally is being a better person than I was for myself. So I set targets for myself. If last year I was having, I usually use numbers a lot. If last year I was having maybe 40 million impressions per month on social media, I make sure that I work so that I multiply that number, I double that number. That's what makes you a better person. If you say you are trying to compete with someone, you never know what the person has. You don't know the experience the person has. You don't know the background. You don't know the grades the person has. Competing with someone is a big mistake that you because it makes you lose focus easily. Because right now it's not like you are not trying to get to your goal. You are trying to get to the person's goal, and the person already knows what the person is doing about. So I feel if you have a goal, you should work towards it. Avoid competitions among yourself. Just be a better person of yourself, and be the best to improve yourself. And also, if you get the platform, try to help others because everything is a teamwork. We are a teamwork. You can't do it alone. You cannot do it alone, no matter what you do. If I have a lot of friends in the social media space. If I'm at loggerheads with them and we go for a gig, I can charge my price. The person can charge the price. If let's say I charge, 10,000 cities for the month, and the person is charging 5,000 cities for a month, the client will pay. But if the two of us are friends, then we say we work as a team, and I tell the client, we charge 30,000. The client will pay. Because you know that this is what, if I don't do it, my friends won't do it. They don't get the 12 parts. But if the 12 parts are together, we get the deal. So I feel we should work as a team. Life shouldn't be a competition. It should be about teamwork, trying to help others. If I get the help I need, and I put someone on, the person too, when the person gets to that space and also need help, the person can put it on. The artists have helped a lot of artists. When I also need them, they also come through. Last year I brought Captain Planet to GIJ because I did project with him. I did it for free, and he came to perform for SRC night. This year, if God permits, I can bring some artists to the GIJ. I'll bring some of the artists friends I have because I've done what I've paid my dues to them. I've helped them. It's all about teamwork. If when they contacted me, I tried to charge them. And they also come, and I tell them that I wanted to come and perform at my school, my GIJ. They'll tell me what, they'll charge me. Well, but it's not about teamwork, it's not about collaboration. That's how we go together, that's how we go together. So thank you guys very much.
1957 news, and yes, we have the biggest social media influencer. I have the biggest social media influencer with me right now, Kalyjay. What's up?
I do cool chat.
If you be easy.
Do
Okay, so in there you spoke about being extraordinary, not following what other people are doing, but adding more value to yourself. I want you to touch a little bit on that.
All I have to say is go the extra mile. So whatever you do, make sure you have like that extra touch. If you're into journalism, find other angles to take your stories from your news and all that. So it will make you stand out. So it's more about adding that extra touch to it, and add voice acting, add a bit of comic relief, add a bit of seriousness, know when to brand yourself, and I think you'll be good to go.
I have one of the big men in the media industry with me right here, Jonnie Hughes.
Hi, I'm fine.
So Jonnie, you have a show on TV3 New Day, Johnny's Bites, which airs every Monday to Friday, and now it seeks to speak or serve as the voice for the voiceless. What advice do you have for we the young ones coming up in the media industry, our ability to speak? What do you have for us?
Well, it starts from within. It starts from knowing what to do as a journalist. It starts from taking your studies seriously. It starts from knowing your place in the scheme of things as a member of the Fourth Republic. Well, it starts first of all from within. It starts from taking your studies seriously. It starts from also recognizing the fact that, as Beck said many years ago, the media is the fourth estate of the realm. There's the judiciary, there's the legislature, and there's the executive. But of course, the media is the fourth estate of the realm. You're supposed to be watchdogs. You're not supposed to be couch dogs. You understand? So that is the focal point. However, while you're looking at the three layers of the conversation, you're also looking at the job of the press, speaking truth to power, encouraging public conversations, forming thoughts, because of course in your classrooms you'll be taught about agenda setting, priming and framing, forming thoughts, and also publishing those thoughts. Once you're able to get these things done as a combination of it, then you know you are confident enough to go about it. But it must be factual, it must be balanced, it must be fair, it must be accurate, and it must be objective. Being objective doesn't mean being neutral, and that people confuse that a lot. You cannot say you are being neutral when, say, an elephant has its leg on the tail of a mouse. You cannot be neutral. You cannot be impartial. You should choose a point, and you can clearly see that the mouse is being attacked, so you cannot be neutral. Then you have to be objective, and your objectivity will say to the elephant, take your big foot off the small tail of the rat. Once you are able to determine and decide that, and you have that focus, you'll be fine.
And a quick one, during the strike, the UTAC strike, on Jonnie's Bites, I think one of the episodes you made mention of students taking their book seriously. They should shut up. Let me just go there. They should shut up, and when we begin to start our IAs and quizzes, we are just going to get fed up. I want you to highlight on that, because yes.
Well, I mean, in the heat of the UTAC strike, conversations were held about the remuneration of the University Teachers Association of Ghana. I had always held the view, ever since the issues came to me into the limelight, that I thought that they had not been treated fairly. I also thought that what they deserve is not what is being earned. And I showed that on Jonnie's Bite. For example, I did the Belarusian example, and I spoke about the fact that in terms of our GDP, Ghana is way ahead of Belarus. How is it that Belarus are paying their lecturers better, and our intellectual community had to beg for bread? I didn't think it made sense. Now, fast forward to a few months afterwards, the conversations have justified what I was calling for. Because now the Council of State, for example, whose job it is to advise the president, and he can decide whether to take the advice or not. They say they want to slash their allowances, not salaries, and allowances are not taxed. They want to slash their allowances by 20%. The executive say they want to slash their salaries by 30%. How much does the chairman of the Council of State, for example, get? How much does the member of the Council of State get? They get between 26 to 28,000. Now, if they slash 20% off it, that's about 5,000, almost 6,000. That is how much a university professor gets. So the allowance of somebody who is willing to slash 20% off is akin or even equal to the salary of a lecturer who has to research, who has to teach, who has to be present in the class, who has to mark script, set questions, supervise exam, dissertation, do extension services. And that for me was the crux of the matter, that your intellectual community should not be begging for bread, because all manner of development starts with the intellectual community. Whether you are starting from the industrial age, you are coming to artificial intelligence and technology as we have it now, all of it depends on research. So when somebody comes from SHS and without properly appreciating everything that is going on and suddenly joins the bandwagon to say, go back to your classrooms, you have to tell them to keep quiet, because they have not properly understood everything else that's going on. And by telling them to keep quiet, it was not being rude. It was telling them that here's the situation you're now going to face. You're now going to be hit with IAs and quizzes and all of that. And like the program this morning, most of these things are not told to you when you were at the SHS level. You only came to know them here. And so sometimes you are startled. You get the point. And that was the crux of the matter.
What's your name?
I'm Zubeida, Abdurrashid Zubeida.
Level
100.
Okay, so I just want to ask you, were your expectations met during this seminar?
Oh yeah. They were really, really good. I didn't even expect this much, but then they really surprised us with all this. I'm impressed.
So yes, I want to ask, during the week, we have a lot of activities packed in the week. What are your expectations?
I'm expecting more, especially more. Like what just happened today, should just continue that way, and then the best should come out of them.
Thank you for your time. Moses,
I'm a Diploma 1 student.
Diploma 1 student, okay. So I want to ask, what was your expectations of this seminar? Has your expectations been met?
Yeah, of course, definitely. As a budding journalist, you want to learn from people like this. So Jonnie, Dela Micheal, these are people you watch every day, and so if you have the opportunity to listen to them, it's a plus. And my expectations were met. They shared quality life experiences that have given me moral lessons that I can apply to my own life and reach the height of the broadcasting profession.
Now, there are lots of activities packed in the week because it's a week program. What are your expectations during the week too?
Yeah, of course. It's not all about academics. There are certain activities during the week that you're used to ease stress and all that. So I'm looking forward. They've proven that they can organize a very quality program. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the program.
All right, sure. Thank you for your time. What's your name?
Priscilla.
Level 100 or Diploma 1?
Diploma 1.
Diploma 1. So what was your expectations of this program and has your expectations been met?
Oh yeah, I think they've been met because I was able to learn 1 or 2 things from it. Yes, I learned from them that you should take your time seriously, you shouldn't waste your time, and also give everything a try. Don't say you are scared or anything, just give everything a try, yes.
A lot of activities has been promised and packed in the week. What are your expectations about that?
I wish they all come to pass because as a Form 1 student, I'll be expecting that everything will be happening.
Okay, all right. Yeah, what's your name and which level are you or diploma?
Oh, I'm Thomas Mace, level 100.
Level 100. So what's your expectations? What's your expectations? Has your expectations been met during this program?
Oh yeah, because as the speakers spoke and all those stuff that they did, they really educated us and really taught us a lot of things that I didn't know at first.
Okay, so now the whole week is packed with activities. The remaining days of the week are packed with activities. What are also your expectations?
We're expecting that it will end up in a good way. The surprise artists and all what they are planning for it to be succeeded.
All right, thank you for your time. I have Mr. Wahab, the CEO of Wahab Group with me. And yes, he gave a resounding speech in the room. I was so impressed. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Now, first of all, I'd like to thank you for honoring our invitation to come and do this with us. Now, you spoke about the journalist and the PR practitioner being the best profession in the whole world. Let me just put it. Why is that so?
It is because each of the professions that you see out there, they specialize on a particular entity. When a doctor commits a crime, it's only when the journalist puts him on his track. But when an engineer journalist puts him, but find out that which profession in the world that you arrest one person, it raises the whole world to speak about that person. There's nothing like that. Not even in politics. Always when it's about profession of journalism, it encompasses the scrutiny, the supervision, the monitoring, the control of others. So meaning that you throw light not only to educate and inform, but then you throw light for the world to know what is happening, and then also you become a police of the world.
Okay, thank you. Now, what advice, general advice you have for the youth out there?
The youth out there is very simple. If you are referring to the youth in journalism, then I'm saying that they should try not to be on the right, far right, on the far left, or they should be in the center. When you do that, it is difficult for a politician, it is difficult for a government official, and then you'll be very distinguished. It is not about the money, it's about how the public will see your works. And that is the most best thing to do as a journalist.
Thank you.
And explain this to Kalyjay.
session. I think I'm enjoying myself so far. What I wish I knew before tertiary. As I sat down, I was wondering, what did I want to know before tertiary? I wish somebody had told me that the first degree was not enough for the corporate world. I wish somebody had told me. I wish somebody had told me that even a master's will still not be enough, depending on the profession you choose. I wish somebody had told me that you had to go on to a PhD. I wish somebody had told me that would have psyched me and positioned me in life.
An education was released recently, and it spoke about, they gave a background as to why you are organizing this Akwaaba. Initially, we wanted to postpone or kind of not celebrate this week because of financial constraint, one, and time constraint. But we, after stakeholder engagement, extensive one at that, we realized that our students need that at least to blow off some steam, to rewind, so that we can get back to the academic work. So we had to just put together some activities to welcome the freshmen properly into the institute. And we are doing so on a budget because, again, as I said earlier, there was financial constraint.
So now the week is moving, and looking at the students, there's some interviews, you realize they are ready to do whatever is going to partake in whatever is going to happen in the week. What's your expectation personally?
Oh, I'm looking forward to having fun because school is stressful. We are all aware. Like when the assignments and things start hitting you, it's stressful. So you need time to rewind. So I'm looking forward to a fun for a week. Tomorrow we are going to have a street debate and it's going to be exciting. So I encourage all these students to come. On Thursday there's going to be FIFA games with some indoor games and it's rep your jerseys. So you come in your jerseys. On Friday they're going to have after party. Yeah, and the location is Pleasant Gardens. Yeah. And on Saturday, you're going to have the Gold Coast vibe. There's local drinks, jama on the side, some games and all those things. Yeah, and after on Sunday, we come and give thanks to God for a successful week. So I'm looking forward to a fun-filled week, and I encourage all students, both freshmen and continuing students, to participate actively in this week so that it will be a success.